muddy out here. Alright, so here's the tractor. It's probably mid to late 70s model. It's a Yanmar YM1401D. It's a 3-cylinder, 18 horsepower diesel. It's in pretty good shape. The starter needs some work. It won't fly out and contact the flywheel all the time, so you get a bit of grinding when you try to start it. But other than that, it runs great. It looks pretty good. It's missing a couple things, like the light on the back doesn't work there, and it's missing the signal light over on this side. But mechanically, it's all sound, and this really matters. So I guess we'll put the logs on the carryall here. I'll have to take that dirt bucket off the back. And here's the other things I have for the tractor. Here's a tiller. It actually works really well. It just PTO connects to the shaft on the back of the tractor right over here. And then the bush hog, I think it's about 48 inches. It works. It's a little small, but it works really good for the size of the tractor here. So I guess it's, yeah, I'll show you under the hood. Just pull these little latches off. And it's a tiny little motor. It's really neat. It's super easy to work on. I've had a big battery up front here. I got a bigger one that's supposed to fit in there because it helps start it a lot easier. Also, the other thing that's wrong with it is the alternator doesn't charge. I think this little thing right here is the regulator. I think it's bad because the alternator puts out plenty of voltage. I tested it right there. So I just charge up the battery when it starts turning over a little slow, but you can get quite a few starts out of it before it needs to be charged. It's got this little thing called Thermo Start here. It's kind of neat. Like a Cummins diesel, it doesn't have glow plugs or anything. What this does is the fuel, this line returns to the tank here. Now here are the injector lines, and they come up here. Then the excess fuel runs through here, runs up this tube, and runs into this little bulb here. And when you turn the key one direction, it comes and it drops down here into the intake manifold here. And there's a thing sort of like a cigarette lighter in there. And it lights the fuel on fire and helps warm up the intake, sort of like grid heaters. But it works really well. You'll see when it's on, you'll see a little bit of white smoke come out when it's turning over, and it lets you know that it's working. You don't really need it. I haven't had to use it yet, but I do. Just makes it easier to start. The other thing it's got here, it's got a compression release. You pull this little lever, opens the valves up and lets the motor turn over a lot easier. Then you can also let it build oil pressure. The lights, there's a little warning light for, I think this one's water temperature, this one's oil pressure. Something went bad up in here, and I don't have a steering wheel puller to take the steering wheel off to get the dashboard off, so what I did is just hooked up this little light thing here. It's kind of a crappy job, but it works. It's just a little LED light off a bilge pump panel. And what I did is it's got both wires hooked up to it that go to both lights, the common ground. And so if either of these warning lights comes on, the light lights up, and that just tells me at least I need to shut it off. There are two senders. This one up here is for the water temperature, and then the oil pressure is down there. It works good. And so far I haven't had any trouble with the lights, except when I first bought the tractor it had a leak. Lost a bit of antifreeze and overheated, but so it's good to know that sender does work. When you turn the key here, obviously it has no oil pressure, so the light comes on. And then what I'll do is I'll pull the compression release and turn it over until it builds oil pressure, so the motor's not running without it. And then once the light goes off, let the compression release go, closes the valves, and it fires up. So let me find some place to put the camera here. Alright, so here we go. Let's see if it'll... So first thing, I'm going to put the clutch in, turn the key over to here. This turns on the Thermo Start for a few seconds. Let's that fuel go down in there and burn. Now that it's warm, let it go. Pull the throttle back. I usually do about halfway or so. Pull the compression release and turn it over. Oil pressure builds. Let this go. Let it warm up for a second here. Alright, you can't really shift the transmission while you're moving, you'll get a bit of gear grinding. I'll try it here, see if I can do it smoothly. Start out in first. I'm going to do a quick shift a second. Now we're in third here. So I'm going to put it down in second. So that little trailer right there is actually off a lawn tractor, but it happens to fit on the carryall just perfectly. The supports go up in about that area right there, and so it works good because then you don't have to hitch it up and you can just pick the whole trailer up off the ground and move it around. Alright, so we've got our firewood loaded up here. Front end is pretty light right now, but we'll see. I don't know how much weight that is. You can pick up a pretty good amount though. Put these welding gloves in the back of the truck. Yeah, you can see there's a bit of weight. You can see the tires bubbling out just a little bit. Alright. Pull forward just a little bit here. Let's see. Get to get it a little bit. Just a little bit. So yeah, the front end is pretty light right now. The tractor does not have power steering, but it's still super easy to steer. Horses seem to be enjoying themselves out there. Yeah, you can see we're making some pretty good ruts now. Not exactly what I wanted in the side yard. Now up here there was an above ground pool at one point, but we took it out and kind of got left with this big hole. Dragging just a little bit. You can hear the pump struggling a little bit with that relief valve going off. So that is quite a bit of weight in the back. Now, to show you, put it in neutral. This first gear, low range. Moving pretty slow. And this is first gear, high range. So for now, I'll just keep this wood in the barn. Forwards here. Man, I'll probably be a little rough here with my left hand. And there you have it. Neat little tractor. So it's got a fuel shutoff on it. You push this forward, cuts the motor off, and then since the motor's off, not oil pressure, so the light comes back on. Horn. And turn it off. So that's it for right now. Maybe later on I'll get some more video of, some more interesting things in hauling firewood.